Dogs for fighting. What are you doing, Pops?
Shuffle off.
Shuffle off, Pops. I'll try to record Metagame Minute, Pop.
Shuffle off. Shuffle off.
Look at her. Look at her.
Shuffle off then.
Go on then. Go on there, Pops.
There you go.
Go on then, Pops.
Bye.
Bye, Pops. They're cute.
3, 2, 1, bro.
What's up, everybody? My name is Nick Murphy. I'm one half of the Buzz Murph, and this is Metagame Minute. Metagame Minute is a weekly segment where Mike or I talk about anything we want to talk about in the gaming world today. Today, I want to talk about replayability, and there was a quick video one of our really good friends, Danny, made, and he was talking about how he doesn't think replayability is actually that big a deal, and if a game is not infinite replayable, it doesn't really matter because people don't play their games enough for a ton of replayability to actually matter. And it was the first time I'd ever heard that kind of argument before, and I was like, wow, you know what? I actually think he might be right. And I've always been very, very concerned with the replayability of a game, or if a game has got a crazy amount of replayability because there's all these different cards and you can switch them out all the time, like, wow, the replayability. And I'm not saying that replayability is a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination. And I do think that if you're a designer, you should try to make your games as replayable as humanly possible. But I do actually kind of agree that replayability isn't as big a deal as we make it out to be because most people don't play their games enough for it to really matter. Now, I do think this has some caveats, and one of the main ones is game collection. Like, how big is your game collection? I do think that if you have 10 games, you have 5 games, I do think then replayability is a very, very big deal because you're probably only playing those same games over and over and over and over again. But if you are really into the board game hobby, so much so that you found our channel, you're probably like us where you have 50, 100, 150, 200 plus games. And again, not everyone does, and not everyone wants that many games. We have a lot of people who watch us who are just like, no, I only have 20 games. I really like to have a very tailored collection. And I think in that case, replayability does matter a lot. But I think once you get to 50 games or more, most people don't play those games enough for that like infinite replayability to really, really matter. I can say, at least for us, it definitely doesn't. We haven't played most of our games 10 times because our collection is, as of our marathon video, 203 games, and it has increased a little bit even since then. And we do have a very big collection, and I'm very aware of that, and this is not necessarily indicative of everyone. But again, I think a lot of the people who like board games enough to consume board game content on the regular on YouTube, they probably have at least a bigger than normal collection. And I would consider anything more than like 30 games to be bigger than normal. Even honestly, that's probably still much, much larger than what would be a normal family or just a normal people who have board games. So, but I do think once you hit like the 50 threshold, especially more, most people are not playing those games enough for them to really need them to be so replayable. And so I think it's an area of a game that I'm gonna try and care about a little bit less. I'm not gonna not care about it because I also don't want it where I can only ever play a game once because I'm like, cool, I just saw everything in this game. Never need to play it again. I also don't want that. I want it to be replayable. But I think if it's one of those things where it's like, hey, really, realistically, I could play this game 8 times. You know what? I'm okay with that because like a $40, $50, $60 game, 8 plays out of it, let's say it's an hour, 2 hours out of it, I personally think that's worth it. But it's one of those things that I think I'm not gonna worry about as much because honestly, it's so hard to get all of these games played anyway that I just don't think it's quite as big a deal as we make it out to be, for the most part. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. This could be very much a me thing where I'm just like, hey, you know what? I'm personally just not gonna really worry about this anymore. And maybe you feel differently, like, no, it's still gonna matter a lot to me. And I think that's totally cool as well. So let me know down in the comments below how you feel about this whole replayability thing, because when Danny brought it up, I was just like, you know what? I've never really thought about it that way. And it was just an interesting way to think about the whole thing. So let me know down in the comments below what you think about this topic. And that's gonna be it for this Metagame Minute. Like I said, my name is Nick Murphy, and whether or not you have a huge collection so you don't really need replayability, or you had a tiny collection and you need a lot of replayability, either way is fine. Everyone's a gamer. Remember, the more meta, the more better. Thank you so much for watching that Metagame Minute. This video up here is going to be Mike's last Metagame Minute, the one last week. And this video right down here is going to be the marathon video that we did. We still really like that video, and we're going to keep on pushing it. Make sure to like this video, give it a share, comment down below. Let's get a discussion going. Until next time, we'll see you later.